Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And a very warm and heartfelt welcome to all my amazing juniors from the batch 2025 for joining us this evening. May the peace, mercy, and blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon all of us. I am Amshad Azeen, and it's truly an honor to be your host for this evening. Much awaited MBBS first year guidance session, proudly organized by IMSA of Mahbub Nagar and Khan. It feels wonderful to be here sharing this platform with such a brilliant speakers and enthusiastic audience. These sessions are a beautiful reminder that success grows stronger when shared. And today we are here to learn, get inspired, and prepare to give our best. Now, first year MBBS, that's a phase where things feel unreal, isn't it? Dissecting cadaver in anatomy to learning how to check BP and physiology and understanding metabolisms and biochem. It's where we step out of our comfort zone and start connecting what we have learned to real medicine. It's where our white coat feels earned. Today's session is all about helping you ace your preparation with expertise who walk the same route and manage to score the best. They say medicine isn't just learned from books, but from those who have walked the path before you, right? And that's exactly what today is about, learning from those who have just crossed this bridge, who knows the struggles, the pressure, and the thrill of it all. Because who better to guide us than the one who have been right where we are? So tonight we have some truly inspiring seniors here to share their journey, their insights, and little secrets that help them ace the preparation and stay sane through it all. And before everything else, let's begin this gathering by remembering the one who blessed us with this opportunity to seek the knowledge. I would like to invite Brother Mirza Sanallah Beg of 2025 batch SVS Medical College to recite a few verses from the Holy Quran. May Allah fill our heart with peace and light through His words. Ameen. Over to you, brother.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم صدق الله العظيم. Read in the name of your Lord who created man from the clinging clot. Read, and your Lord is most generous, who taught by pen, taught man that which he knew not. Sadaqallahu al-aliyyul azim.
Subhanallah, that was truly soothing to the soul. Jazakallah khair for the heartfelt recitation, brother. A perfect way to begin our session, reminding us that with sincerity and faith, every challenge becomes easier. May Allah reward you immensely and make these verses a source of barakah for all of us. So, now let me give you a quick brief about the session. So, what's the session all about? The first year often feels like a maze. Suddenly, there are new subjects, practicals, and syllabus that suddenly triples overnight. And the never ending thought of how do I even complete this huge syllabus, right? But don't worry, tonight's session is your roadmap out of the maze. That's exactly why we are here. Tonight's session will cover how to approach anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry preparation for finals, smart strategies for revisions, representation tips, and mainly time management in exam. And yes, how and when to complete syllabus and revision without losing your sleep and your sanity. We have got seniors who not only aced the subject but did it with balance, grace, and consistency, all while keeping the faith and focus intact. They'll be sharing their tired and tested strategies, tips for revisions and note making, and how to stay motivated when things get tough. So keep your notebooks ready, heart open, and mind curious, because tonight is all about learning how to study smart, not just as hard. Let's start this evening with the first speaker who will help us explore the subject, and that is the bridge between the biology and chemistry that you learned during the meet to real human application of those concepts, including biomolecules, metabolism. So, in biochemical terms, let's categorize the tough exam prep and analyze our strength for theory and practical viva in biochemistry. Our first speaker is Brother Tabrez Alam from 2023 batch GMC Vanaparthi, who secured overall first class scoring distinction in biochemistry. MashaAllah. He'll be sharing how to approach biochemistry in a structured, simple way from understanding reactions and learning enzymes to writing answers in exam and tackling viva and spotters with confidence. So, if biochemistry ever felt overwhelming, this talk will make it clear, logical, and even fun. This session will definitely make things clearer, logical, and more manageable. So let's give a warm virtual welcome to Brother Tabriz Alam as he guides us through mastering biochemistry with confidence. Over to you, Brother Tabriz.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Let me share the screen. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Is it not open? Yes, mashallah. Sorry for the interruptions for the time being. So I'm Tabriz, going to guide you according to my experiences in biochemistry, how to score within these left days, I think 50 days for the distinction. And Alhamdulillah, I can say more than 90 students, nearby 100 students are enthusiastic to know about the session, how to score distinctions in each subject. For the time being, I'll be explaining the biochemistry. Okay. So, first of all, I'm grateful for the INSA and also grateful to all the members trusting in me that I can guide all my fellows, juniors, inshallah ta'ala. So in today's session, I will be discussing about a little bit regarding CBME, also the paper distribution, biochemistry paper pattern, and high weightage topics. I will give you the checklist as well. I will give you some important pathways summary as well, which question bank you should refer, and what should be exam oriented resources during these days, and what could be some important clinical scenarios which can be LQs in your university exam. Okay, and also I will be guiding you how to prepare for the practical exam once your theory exam is over, and also I will be guiding you for the paper presentation skills, what could be the do's and don'ts. Also, I will give you the smartest strategy for the revision for scoring the distinctions within 1 month. Okay. And then I'll guide you how to manage time during the paper. And then I'll conclude the session. Okay. So you all will be aware. आप लोग जानते होंगे आपका जो पेपर है वो 12 अगस्त से शुरू हो रहा है, और अगर आज से हम तब तक का डेट अगर कैलकुलेट करें तो नियर बाय 50 डेज जो है वो हमारे पास बच जाता है, जो कि बायोकेमिस्ट्री जैसे सब्जेक्ट में स्कोर करने के लिए आसान है। इतना दिन जो है वो काफी है इंशाल्लाह ताला, और अच्छी बात यह है कि 2-2 दिन का गैप ही है। ठीक है। अगर हम बायोकेमिस्ट्री की बात करें तो जो बायोकेमिस्ट्री है वो बेसिकली हमारे बारे में, हमारे शरीर में, हमारे बॉडी में जितने भी बायोमॉलिक्यूल्स है उसके बारे में बात करता है। कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स है, प्रोटीन्स है, लिपिड्स है, न्यूक्लिक एसिड्स है। ठीक है। बाकी हम सारी चीजें को रिलेट करते हैं मेटाबॉलिज्म से, एंजाइम से, विटामिन से, हार्मोन से, एनर्जी प्रोडक्शन वगैरह से। ठीक है। मेनली क्या होता है बायोकेमिस्ट्री पढ़ने का जो मकसद होता है कि वी शुड be able to understand the molecular basis of the disease and can easily interpret the blood test, liver function test, kidney function test, diabetes investigation, anemia investigations, jaundice investigations, and all. Okay, so that makes the biochemistry a really nice subject in MBBS. Okay, now should we really focus on the CBME? Like in the beginning, you would be giving a kind of suggestion to go through the CBME, because CBME will give you the idea what to study in biochemistry and all. But if you also analyze the university patterns in biochemistry and CBME patterns, then you will analyze that both of them are equivalent. I would say what CBME expects is parallel with the university exam patterns as well. Your CBME will be expecting clinical applications, integration with the basic science, concept-based learning, competency development, early clinical exposures, and all. Okay. And in meanwhile, university exam will be asking the same thing in the form of the LAQ, SAQ, VSAQ, somehow some repeated questions of the PYQs and practicals and BioSQs and all. So this is a very beautiful diagram, pictorial representations of the CBME and university exam, which can give you an idea that whether you follow the CBME or the university exam patterns, both equal. Okay, and balancing both can also give you kind of key to the distinction. Okay, so from the beginning, you will be having studying about the CBME patterns for better understanding of the biochemistry as per the expectations of the MC. Okay, but during these days, I would recommend you not to go for the CBME, but revise according to the university pattern for the distinction. Okay, so now I'll be discussing about the paper pattern. Okay, so the paper distributions for our university exam for the KNRUHS, there are two papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Okay, in paper 1, we have topics like cells, cellular organelles, structures of cell membranes, transport across cell membranes, having weightage of 5 marks only. Okay, so no need to focus much more because it is also given in the physiology. Okay, then you can focus more chemistry and metabolism of carbohydrates, 18 marks weightage. Okay, chemistry of and metabolism of lipid, 18 marks. Okay, Also, biological extensions, 8 marks. Which vitamins? 15 marks. Okay. Minerals, nutrition, and dietetics also can be 18 marks. So it comes somehow 5 marks. You can have a philosophical knowledge as well. So you can give the idea for the bioethics and rules for the autonom, whatever there is for the outcome you can study. So from the paper one distributions, I would recommend you to just focus on enzymes, okay, and chemistry and metabolism of the carbohydrates, chemistry and metabolism of the lipids, and vitamins as well. Okay, which actually topics you should read in all these important chapters for the paper one, I'll give you in the next slide. Okay, and in paper two, what you can do, you can focus, since chemistry of amino acid proteins and metabolism of proteins having weightage of 15 marks, you can focus for the paper two in these topics as well. Okay, plasma proteins, immunology, and immunoglobulins, you would be having knowledge in the physiology as well. But if you are able to integrate, it's okay. Then if you are not, then you can study some things in this topic as well. Okay, but focus mainly on the chemistry and metabolism of the nucleotide, and also most importantly, focus on the molecular biology techniques and gene therapy. Okay, you can focus somehow on the organ function test, endocrinology, mechanism of organ functions as well. Okay, but in paper two, what makes the clinical scenario most often it is from fluid and electrolyte balance. If it is not, then it can be from the acid base balance. Okay, so this is the totaling, MCQs, 1 marks is 10 marks, 2 LAQs, 15 marks is 30 marks, 6 marks is 42 marks, 6 questions, sum total, paper patterns of the K and URHS you would be knowing. Okay, why I have told you, it will be helpful for me and for you to connect in the coming slides. Now, come this is a recent KNURHS biochemistry paper in my time, 2024 batch, okay, 2030 batch. So in my times, you can see there was a 10 MCQs and also one clinical cache questions as well. Okay, clinical scenario, like question number 11, and also 12 somehow some certain topics were given, and including marks for the LAQ and all. Okay, there were also 7 questions of SAQs and 6 questions of the VSAQs. So this is basic pattern I have given you here just to make you understand about the paper patterns of the university exam. So I'm interested here to discuss about the high yield topics checklist, because you can study many things at your level as well, and you have studied many things in your but from this session, I would like you to take this checklist. And so, like in paper one, I will steer you through the checklist. Okay, so you can focus. Okay, in paper two, most importantly, you can read urea cycle, glycine metabolism, phenylalanine and tyrosine metabolism, nucleotide metabolism, heme biosynthesis and porphyria, very important, and DNA replication, transcription, translations, protein biosynthesis, It's a really high topic. Okay. Recombinant DNA technology, you would be having knowledge from the 12th standard as well, and you can read something and connect with them as well. Okay. PCR and diagnostic techniques, tumors markers, biotics and detoxifications, very important. Okay. As I have told you, also acid base balance makes 15 marks weightage, so it is really, really very important. Okay. You can study jaundice, liver function test, renal function test, diabetes mellitus, and also these are the high topics. If you focus on these topics in paper one and paper two, I'm sure you will pass. Okay. See, most of the students they get scared of the pathways, right? In metabolism. What you can do, if you just focus on these, I would say pathways, you will be able to connect each pathways with each other. Like you can connect the glycolysis with HMP shunt with the fructose metabolism, lipid metabolism, ketogenesis, protein metabolism, TCA cycle, urea cycle, gluconeogenesis, glycogenesis and glycogenolysis, galactose metabolism as well. So, analyzing all these things, I would share in a group if necessary. Some important clinical scenario. I have shown you that in university exam, clinical case-based questions also being asked. So what you should read in paper one, I would recommend you to read lactose intolerance, hereditary fructose intolerance, diabetes mellitus, most importantly, diabetes ketoacidosis, Van-Gogh disease, glycogen storage one, and you can study G6PD deficiency as well. Myocardial infections, most importantly, you can read acute pancreatitis. If you want to read, you can. Okay, but read and vitamins A, C, D, B complex deficiency disease. Okay, you can study the nephrotic syndrome as well. Okay, so I have given some clinical manifestations as well, like in diabetes mellitus. If there is polyuria, polydipsia, polyphagia, weight loss, clinical manifestation in the question given. Okay, with the biochemical value that the blood glucose level is high, HbA1c is greater than 6.3, then you can be able to diagnose the disease that it is diabetes mellitus. Okay, so for the clinical scenario, the key for the diagnosis is the clinical manifestations and the biochemical relevance. Okay, in paper two, same. Okay, you can study the phenylketonuria, alkaptonuria, cystinuria, maple syrup. It is not too much important, but you can read. Gut is very important. Okay, nucleotide metabolism you will study. Iron deficiency anemia, most important. Porphyria, okay, this can be very important topic for the clinical case. Okay, you can study the jaundice, and also in acid-base balance, you can study these acidosis and alkalosis for the metabolic and respiratory. Okay. What I have given you here as a clue that you can focus on the clinical manifestations using somehow the biochemical relevance and you can diagnose easily. So in clinical case, read the clinical manifestations given in the questions or take help from the biochemical relevance if given and diagnose the disease, it will give you marks. Okay. Now, after going through all these patterns and high topics, okay, weightage and all, I would now be interested to discuss about the question banks. Okay, right now, since you would be observing that I have not given an idea which book you should read, right? Because during these days, nobody can read the book, right? So you can focus on the question bank. There are many question bank. There are Falcon, Times Medico, MediCircle, HQ. Okay, for the time being, you can use Times Medico either or HQ. Okay, MediCircle is popular among the Andhra Pradesh students, but Times Medico widely used across Telangana. Okay, HQs is recently popular among medical students. Like since it is our last day's revision, right? So you can focus on the HQs. Okay, it is I can say having quick revision resource. Okay, it is excellent for the last minute preparations as well. Okay, so for the question bank, personally, since I have studied Times Medico, I would recommend for the Times Medico. But recently, since HQ is famous, you can focus, you can take help from the HQs as well. What you should read in Times Medico and HQ, I will be guiding you in the coming slide. Okay, most of us would be exhausted reading the black letters of the books or the notes or the handwritten notes, whatever you have. So we go for the video resources so that we can watch and we can have some visualized pictures so that we can write. Okay. So yeah, I would be interested to give you a kind of video resource idea for the fast revision. You can go for the biochemistry Dr. Rajesh Shumbulkar sir. Okay, most famous among India, across India. Okay. So you can read the Rajesh Chambulkar sir note as well. Okay, very famous Chambulkar note. Okay, and like if you are interested for the fast revision, then you can also go for the dirty medicine. Okay, many of you from the first year, maybe I'm not sure, maybe targeting the foreign exams like USMLE or MC, they will be reading the dirty medicine as well. Since being an USMLE aspirant, since the beginning, I was interested in dirty medicine. So I read something from the dirty medicine side, and beautifully, it has given the fast revision resources. Okay, so you can focus on the dirty medicine as well. And if you are not comfortable with the dirty medicine, then you can read Dr. Jambulkar notes as well. Okay, now everything is, I think, in your mind, whatever I have told you. You would be interested now, sir. What should be our daily smart revision strategy? Because whatever you have told, maybe I would be knowing, I have experienced these things. Yes. So, from my point of view, I will be giving you some daily smart revision strategies for 1 month to secure the distinction. Okay, here we are not to pass only. We are targeting to score above 75, so that we will be calling as the distinction holder among our batch and clapped among the students in the lecture hall as well in third year, right? In second year. So, yeah, daily you can read 2 hours. In anatomy or physiology, our speakers would be guiding you how much time you should afford. But in biochemistry, no need to give too much time. Okay, you should focus on physiology and anatomy. But here, you can give at least 2 hours a day. Mandatory. You can give 2 hours. Why? Because in biochemistry, we have 60 minutes you can, okay, and 40 chapter wise MCQs from question bank, and 20 minutes for the VSAQs. Okay, 70% of time you can give here. Okay, what you do for the VSAQs, just memorize some things like definition, rate limiting enzymes, normal values of enzymes, when clinical correlations and all. Okay, but what I have experienced personally, while covering the LAQs and SAQs, automatically the VSAQs is covered. Okay, so read 2 hours daily and cover LAQ, SAQ, and VSAQ from each chapter. Okay, inshallah ta'ala, if you follow this, your strategy will work out, and within 1 month you will be able to score the distinctions as well, inshallah. So 1 month roadmap, what could be that? Okay, it can be practical for someone, but it can be not. Okay, but since roadmap may work practically, I can give you an idea that in week one, coming week, you can focus in paper one for the core metabolism. Okay, I have told you about the paper one core metabolism in the previous slide as well. On all these things, you can focus in first week to cover the metabolism. Okay, and in week two, what you can do in paper two, you can cover some biochemistry core topics. Okay, I have given these idea as well in the previous slides. Okay, and in week three, what you could do, you can read clinical manifestations and biochemical relevance in values. We will be able to diagnose the clinical case as well. Why? Because the 15 marks LAQ is given rare, right? In terms of the LAQ, right? In terms of the LAQ, clinical case. So in week four, what you can do, just revise. Okay, testing week it should be. Okay, you revise and test yourself. What I would recommend in week four, you can practice. At least you can write one paper using the recent the conducted exam. Sit 3 hours, and what should be your time management? I will be guiding you in the next. Okay, so from this, I would like to tell you one thing as a conclusion point. Focus on LAQ and then SAQ and then VSAQs, and using the PYQs as well. Okay, now coming to the paper presentation skills. See, you have studied much more things, you have knowledge, you have concepts, you have memorized many things. Now you're ready to write. This is your exam hours. If you present your knowledge, your content, your memorized words and all in a very better way, or presenting a presentation skill or the paper presentation is really nice and attractive, then obviously paper presentation alone can improve your score by 10 to 15%. Yeah. So what you should do during paper writing, you can underline some words, okay, draw neat diagrams necessary, use follow charts if possible for the pathways and cycles and all, okay. Do not write paragraph forms and all. Write rather headings and subheadings. Okay, mention enzymes, substrate, coenzymes, and then products and all. Okay, so एक better presentation skills आप जो है बना सकते हैं कि like substract है उसके अंदर एक enzyme है, कोई enzyme इस पे work किया, then product इस तरह से बना। आप क्या कर सकते हैं, इस तरह से जो है एक पाथवे बना सकते हैं, फ्लो चार्ट बना सकते हैं, जो कि अच्छा भी है। आप उसको चाहे तो फ्लो चार्ट में प्रदर्शन करके प्रेजेंट करके आप एग्जामिनर्स जो नंबर देने वाले हैं उनके आप अटेंशन को खींच सकते हैं, ठीक है। लेकिन जो एग्जाम के दरमियान नहीं करना वो ये कि पैराग्राफ ऑफ योर पेपर, राइट। सो डू नॉट राइट इन पेपर, ओवर राइटिंग शुड नॉट बी देयर। जितना आप जानते हो उसको बुलेट पॉइंट में लिखने की कोशिश कीजिए, ठीक है। एंड अवॉइड अननेसेसरी डिटेल्स, writing whatever you know, and which is not relevant to your answer, to your questions. Okay, so do not write unnecessary details. Also, I would say that बहुत सारे टाइम ऐसा होता है कि कुछ क्वेश्चन पेपर नहीं आता तो हम ईमानदार आदमी है छोड़ देते हैं कुछ पेपर को, जब नहीं आ रहा है तो अटेम्प्ट करें, है ना। लेकिन ऐसा नहीं करना, कह सकते हैं छोड़ना ही नहीं है, हर एक क्वेश्चन प्रेजेंट वो शो करने में हेल्प करेंगे इंशाल्लाह। 5 मिनट जो है वो रीडिंग टाइम के लिए दीजिए, ठीक है, पेपर के दरमियान। उसके बाद 10 मिनट्स में एमसीक्यू हल कर लीजिए, 50 मिनट्स कम से कम एलक्यू दोनों खत्म कर लीजिए, ठीक है। और एसक्यू को तकरीबन आप चाहे तो दे सकते हैं, यू नो 42 मार्क्स है तो 70 मिनट्स इस तरह से दे सकते हैं, ठीक है। 35 मिनट्स में आप बेसिक को कवर कर लीजिए, लास्ट का 10 मिनट्स आप फाइनल रिव्यू के लिए रखिए, ठीक है। तो इस तरह से क्या होगा, आपका जो टाइम मैनेजमेंट जो ठीक रहेगा तमाम एलक्यू एसक्यू और एसक्यू के जरिए, तो आप पेपर को भी फाइनल रिव्यू के लिए आखिर में टाइम बचा के रख सकते हैं, ठीक है। तो ये बेसिकली लास्ट में एक रिवीजन है फॉर द डिस्टिंक्शन, आई वुड से कि आप याद रखें कि आपको एग्जाम कब है, ओके, और कितने बजे से है, किस दिन है, ये आप टाइमर वगैरह लगा के आप सेव करके रख सकते हैं, ठीक है। ये भी याद रखें कि पेपर वन में सिर्फ पेपर वन को ही रिवाइज करना है, पेपर टू में पेपर टू को रिवाइज करना है, ठीक है। आप जानते हैं डिस्टिंक्शन लाने के लिए आपको पेपर वन में कम से कम 75 80 प्लस जो है वो स्कोर करना पड़ेगा, पेपर टू में 75 से 80 प्लस स्कोर करना पड़ेगा, प्रैक्टिकल वाइवा में 80 प्लस स्कोर करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। तो अगर आप 40 प्लस जो है अगर आप स्कोर करते हैं 300 में से, तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल बी एबल टू स्कोर द डिस्टिंक्शन, ओके, इंशाल्लाह ताला, ठीक है। So coming for the practical exam, so you should not be worried about the practical exam. Professors or the lecturer would be guiding you for the practical exam as well. But remember that there should be only 5 things in the practical exam: quantitative analysis, qualitative analysis, OSP or spotters, viva. In some medical colleges in Telangana, they can have clinical cases as well. Okay, so I would recommend you to read in qualitative analysis only the abnormal constituents of the urine. Okay, you can read glucose and the test used in the benetics test is observation, remember, and what could be the clinical significance. Okay, like if glucose is there in the urine, what could be the clinical significance? Diabetes mellitus. Okay, so thank you so much. Also, one thing in quantitative analysis, you can focus, on 4 things only: blood glucose, blood urea, serum creatinine, and total protein. Okay, what method is used, you can remember, and also what are the formula and the normal values, you can remember, because invigilators, I mean, examiner would be interested to know the normal value from you as well. Okay, so and however, what they could ask, probably they can ask from he sing in his test and all, so they can ask. Okay, so in what I would recommend for the practical exam, that read the principles, procedures, formula, normal values, and the clinical significance. Practice mostly the calculations part. Okay, revise non, and I would say for the practical exam, if you are confident enough, then obviously the examiner will be impressed and they will give you the marks. Okay. So thank you so much for paying attention, and इंशाल्लाह ताला ये सारी बातें अगर थोड़ी बहुत भी समझ में आ गई और इस पर अमल किया गया, तो ये केमिस्ट्री को इन बचे कुछ दिनों में जो है आपको रिवाइज करने में या फिर बाकी के टॉपिक कवर करने में और हाई यील्ड चेकलिस्ट के हिसाब से तैयारी करने में भी आपको बड़ी मुआविन और मददगार साबित होगी इंशाल्लाह ताला। कोई है जो क्वेश्चन वगैरह पूछना चाहता है, किसी को डाउट वगैरह है, तो आप प्लीज हमसे पूछिए, हम जरूर भी जरूर आपके इन डाउट्स के जवाब देने की पूरी कोशिश करेंगे।
Jazakallah khair, Brother Tabriz Alam. That was Absolutely wonderful. MashaAllah, you have made biochemistry sound less like a mystery, more like a subject we can actually enjoy learning. You have shown us that biochemistry isn't about memorizing endless enzymes, it's about connecting concepts. May Allah bless you for sharing your experience so generously. Next up, we move to the subject that teaches us how to see the world of medicine from a whole new perspective, quite literally physiology. So let's welcome Manara Naim from BRK Medical College of Batch 2023, who secured overall distinction and exclusively in physiology and biochemistry, mashallah, to share her experience and her approach to mastering physiology with ease. She'll be guiding us on how to make physiology interesting and manageable, how to study the subject smartly from theory and diagram to Viva preparation and clinical correlation. Let's give a warm virtual welcome to Manara Naim as she guides us to mastering physiology with confidence. Over to you, Sister Manara.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you all doing? So today
Fine.
I'll be guiding you all on physiology. Now, first of all, thank you for joining today's session. Before we start, let me make one thing very clear. I'm not a senior who knows every single line of Guyton, okay? I'm something that inshallah you will relate to and I will guide you towards distinction. So let's start with the most important thing, the exam dates. Now, many of us keep saying that there's still time left, abhi time hai. But then suddenly KNRHS ka timetable aa gaya, and then you start counting days, you start making timetables, right? So let's see the exam dates. Aapka paper 1 is on 21st August and paper 2 is on 24th August, which leaves 2 days in between for you to revise, okay? And total अभी से अगर आपका dates count करें, then you have 52 days left for preparation, leaving the days for biochemistry revision 3 days जो आपको biochemistry paper 1 से पहले चाहिए उसको छोड़कर आपके पास अभी से 52 days है इंशाल्लाह. All right. Now coming to resources that I used. सबसे पहले textbooks में you can use the standard textbook for GK PAL. अभी तक आप लोग अगर उससे पढ़े then carry that. And AK Jain, I personally followed AK Jain, but some chapters like blood hematology and CNS, I referred it to GK PAL, and plus some chapters like endocrine and reproductive system and skin and miscellaneous chapters, I've referred to Sembilingam. Now, right now, Sembulingam will be the best for you because उसमें flow chart से diagram से it has everything that you need to score good marks. ठीक है? So what approach you should go for ahead is जो भी आप टेक्स्ट बुक अब तक फॉलो करिए जीके पाल एके जैन एनीथिंग उसका अगर आप थ्योरी ले रहे देन इंटीग्रेट फ्लो चार्ट्स एंड स्टफ फ्रॉम सेम्बुलिंगम. ऑलराइट. नाउ कमिंग टू क्वेश्चन बैंक्स. आप सबको मालूम है HQs the one and only, it is the best out there, you can follow that. I followed that. Along with it I followed 10 to 15 years के PYQs. Now you will find out that PYQs ऑलमोस्ट सिमिलर है HQs. ऑलमोस्ट सारे PYQs जो है वो HQs में एम्बेस है. But then you can find few more extra questions like 3 or 4 SAQs out there extra that you need to incorporate in your HQ bank. Like my HQs ka I took print out and then I used to include extra questions from PYQs. And plus PYQs are very helpful where you have to follow the where you can practice the clinical questions that are being asked. Now this is the first time that you'll be facing diagnosis based questions, okay? But don't be scared, it's going to be real easy diagnosis questions. आप पढ़े तो आपको समझ में आ जाता है, alright? So to get an idea of the clinical diagnosis questions, you should practice PYQs. That will be very helpful and this will score you distinction inshallah. Now, I have a question for all of you that which category do you guys belong to? There is group A जो सोच रहे हैं कि ये IMSA के meeting के बाद से पढ़ूंगा या पढ़ूंगी. And there is group B who followed internal, studied some portion at least. And there is group C from, Chatur, uh, from Three Idiots whose syllabus is completed. So I'm looking for your answers in the chat box. Group A, right? Inshallah, you too will be guided towards distinction. Inshallah. Group B, that's great. All right. So Group A, your primary goal should be, almost completed between B and C. There is one Chatur from Three Idiots over here in our meeting, right? All right. Now, Group A, your primary goal should be to finish the syllabus, okay, and especially marked HAQs, जो आपको I think थोड़ी देर में release हो जाएंगे on your WhatsApp groups or Telegrams or something, and PYQs. Group B, your primary goal again should be to complete the remaining topics and proceed towards perfect answer presentation. Group C, the one chatur that is there in the meeting, just revise, revise, revise. All right. Now, this is my personal study cycle that I used, and alhamdulillah, it has helped me a lot. And it is not a study cycle wherein आपको 24 घंटे पढ़ना है. All right. Now, I used to study anatomy every day because anatomy requires a lot of time. You have, words to memorize. You have so much to visualize and stuff. So I used to study anatomy from 6 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Of course, I used to take breaks in between, जो मैं आपको आगे बताऊंगी कि मैं कैसे कैसे breaks भी लेती थी. But this was my timeline. Till 12:30 p.m. after I've read anatomy, then Zahar ke liye uthe, you had lunch, you had a good 2 hour ka break. Then from 2 p.m. I used to start with physiology or biochemistry. Like in a week, I used to alternate physiology and biochemistry. आज अगर मैं physiology पढ़ी 2 बजे से रात तक, कल मैं biochemistry पढ़ूंगी, फिर परसों मैं physiology पढ़ूंगी. वैसा I used to alternate, but anatomy is daily. All right, you can see my weekly cycle. Now, how to prepare? Okay, first start with paper 2 because paper 2 का सबसे ज़्यादा weightage रहता, and paper 2 is like it has a bigger wider syllabus, so you should have great time to memorize that. So start with paper 2. This is the paper 1 and paper 2 distribution, and yeah, mostly ना stick ही होता to this, paper 2 में इतने chapters, paper 1 में इतने chapters. कभी कभार I think 1% possibility रहती, but I don't think inshallah this time they will jump any chapters for you guys. All right. Now, the 3 stars are the chapters that are most important. 2 stars are again important, and 1 star भी बहुत important है. आपको अगर distinction चाहिए तो आपको सारे chapters पढ़ने होंगे, सारे HQs पढ़ने होंगे. All right. Now, आपके पास as I said 52 days है preparation के लिए, but it is very irrational कि आप सारे 52 days physiology को दें. But I gave this timetable जिसमें आपका syllabus इंशाल्लाह 19 days में complete होगा, and that too distinction level पे. All right. Now, पेपर 2 से अगर आप पहले स्टार्ट करें तो फर्स्ट स्टार्ट विद 3 स्टार चैप्टर्स दैट इज सीएनएस एंड एंडोक्राइन फिजियोलॉजी. सीएनएस के लिए 4 दिन लगेंगे बिकॉज वेरी वास्ट है. एंडोक्राइन के लिए 2 दिन लगेंगे, एंड आई हैव एडेड द डेज इन द साइड एंड द डेज ओवर हियर. तो आप इसके हिसाब से यू कैन टेक अ स्क्रीनशॉट एंड यू गाइस कैन प्लान इट अकॉर्डिंगली. एंड यहाँ पर रीड दैट ओनली HAQs and all HAQs inshallah will lead you towards distinction. All right. Just have a look at this. Paper 1 में cardiovascular system most important, respiration most important. These are the chapters जहाँ से आपको LAQs सबसे ज़्यादा आते हैं. All right. Now blood hematology भी important है, general physiology and skin miscellaneous. Paper 2 का skin and paper 1 का general physiology ये आपको एक दिन में complete कर दे सकते हैं आप, आधा आधा दिन लगेगा maximum. All right. Now, these are the revision notes that have helped me. जैसा आप लोग देख सकते हैं picture में. I used to make these alongside when I'm reading chapters. I used to make that alongside. All right, I had this small book wherein I wrote this is an LAQ from Hajeli question. So I used to write. I just structured my answer because a structured answer will only fetch you distinction. All right. So I did not write in this short notes. I don't think it will be very suitable कि आप ये महीना अगर आप notes बना लेते बैठे, then I think it will be quite difficult for you. So what I did is I just wrote the subheadings that in an answer where if synapse LAQ is being asked, I'll be writing definition. Then I'll be writing the structure of synapse. Then I'll be writing the classification. Then I'll be writing the synaptic potential के कितने types है, like that. Okay, same for receptors, definition, function, classification. So I just wrote the subheadings, and trust me, guys, this has helped me a lot. And ये उतना time भी नहीं लेता. Okay. So you guys, I recommend you 100% that go ahead with this. At least for LAQs, try to make as a structured notes. Okay, with subheadings, it is going to help you a lot. All right. Now, next, this is the revision plan that I'm going to give you कि आप लोग एग्जाम से पहले कैसा फॉलो करें. तो आपका एग्जाम 19th के दिन आई थिंक आपका anatomy paper 2 finish हो रहा है, right? Now after that आप आते, my college used to end at 3, so I used to be till 3. मैं घर में रहती थी, so I used to have a 2 hour nap असर तक. And then asar ko jab uthe 1 hour, you just relax, you have food and stuff, and then maghrib se I used to start. So after you come from anatomy exam, general physiology, blood and renal physiology revise कर लो. Next then जब आप उठे CVS, respiration, GIT revise कर लो. Then आपका एग्जाम का अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह पेपर 1 का पोर्शन रिवाइज हो गया. देन पेपर 2 के लिए बिकॉज आपके पास 2 दिन के हॉलीडेज है, आप दिन के लिए 2 चैप्टर्स लेंगे. जब आप एग्जाम लिख के आएंगे पेपर 1 का, आई जस्ट kept small chapters because आप अच्छे से रिलैक्स कर सकते हैं. ऑलराइट. नाउ आफ्टर योर पेपर 2 इट्स पार्टी टाइम. ठीक है, एंजॉय अच्छे से. Now, coming to time management. Now, this I've included time management during preparation and time management during examination. And like how I've said you before, ki I'll show you how I took break while studying. So as I said, I used to start anatomy from 6 to 12:30. I used to follow the Pomodoro method. Same for physiology, जब मैं 2 बजे से रात तक पढ़ती थी, which is with breaks. So first study session I'll start with 30 minutes. ये एक ऐप रहता, यू कैन गो ऑन गूगल प्ले और ऐप स्टोर एंड यू कैन डाउनलोड द पोमोडोरो ऐप. एंड इसमें स्टडी सेशन 1 30 मिनट्स का आई केप्ट with a short break. 30 minutes के बाद 5 minutes break. Okay, then study session 2 के बाद again 5 minutes break. Study session 3 के बाद 5 minutes break. ऐसे मैं 4 study sessions करती थी. And then I used to take a long break for 30 minutes. And trust me guys, इससे you won't get bored, you won't get frustrated, आपका दिमाग ऐसे एकदम गर्म नहीं हो जाता. Plus you are taking breaks. But this only happens when you avoid using Instagram ke reels or shorts or those things between breaks. Okay, please, I know you all are addicted to reels, but at least preparation ke time pe in short breaks at least don't use it. Long breaks mein aap 10 minutes ka kar sakte hai. I give you that much of allotment, all right, but short breaks mein never use because usse aapka memory power niche aata. Go ahead, take a walk, okay, have some snacks, have food and stuff like that. Now, time management during examination, this is a timeline that you guys are following. You guys can definitely click a screenshot. So at 9:45 a.m., you will be entering examination hall. All right. And आपको answer sheet मिल जाएगी. Answer sheet में आपके सारे details already डाले हुए होंगे. आपका hall ticket number, आपकी picture भी रहती है, I guess. And then you just have to sign on that. All right. Now at 10 a.m. you will be given your question paper. Now, जब आपका question paper मिला, take whole 5 minutes to read question paper अच्छे से. And when you're reading question paper, make sure कि आप उसमें mark करें कि आपको उसमें कौन से answers perfectly आते हैं. And start attempting with those. ठीक है. नाउ 5 10 5 तक आप आपके क्वेश्चन पेपर पढ़ लिए. 10 5 को आप बिस्मिल्लाह LAQs लिखना स्टार्ट करें. नाउ आई एम गिविंग यू गाइस 35 minutes per LAQ which involves including diagrams, flowcharts and everything in there. All right, so I think it is very much enough and it should be enough. इससे ज्यादा अगर आप लेंगे तो आपके आंसर्स मिस हो सकते हैं and you might not be on time. All right. Now, from 10:05 to 10:40, you've finished your LAQ 1. From 10:40 to 11:15, आपका LAQ 2 हो गया. Now, you look at the watch, it's 11:15. Now, it's time to start SAQs. And you start with SAQs जो आपको perfectly आते हैं, ठीक है? जिसमें आपको डायग्राम्स अच्छे आते हैं, जिसमें आप अच्छे से प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज आपका एग्जामिनर को इम्प्रेस करना है. एग्जामिनर जब आपका करेक्ट करेंगे, अरे हाँ ये आता, देन एंड द एंड आप जो भी कहानी लिखते, जो भी लिखते हैं, उसको भी उन लोग मार्क्स दे देते हैं अगर एंड में आपको जो नहीं आते वो लिखे, राइट? So you start with SAQs, the one that you know perfectly. I am giving you guys 8 minutes per SAQ. Okay, try to include flowcharts, diagrams as much as possible. So उस हिसाब से 12:15 PM तक आपके सारे SAQs हो जाना चाहिए. Now you have 45 more minutes for your examination, which is good. I'm giving you 10 minutes for MCQs. Okay, आगे जाके there is a slide wherein I'll show you how to tackle MCQs. And then 10 minutes MCQs. Then 12:25 to 12:55 finish writing VSAQs. All right. Now use one side of paper and one side of paper for every VSAQ. अगर आप VSAQ आधा पेज भी लिखे उसको वहीं छोड़ दो एंड दूसरे पेज से दूसरा VSAQ स्टार्ट करो. ओके, नेवर राइट 2 आंसर्स इन द सेम पेज बिकॉज देन करेक्शन में प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, कंफ्यूजन हो सकता है एंड आपके मार्क्स जा सकते हैं. सो स्टार्ट एवरी सिंगल आंसर ऑन अ न्यू पेज, भले ही आप पेज भी लिखो, स्टिल स्टार्ट इट ऑन अ न्यू पेज. ऑलराइट, नाउ 12:55 to 1 p.m. I'm giving you guys time to check your papers, underline, highlight, but इतना भी मत कर दो कि बस आंखों को चुभने लगे. Make it, keep it decent, all right? Now, and don't keep it shabby. Now, at 1 p.m., you submit your paper. Now, coming to answer sheet presentation. Now, I have attached my internal paper answer sheets over here, okay? तो हमारे LAQ आया था angina pectoris. I hope you all know it is from CVS. And हमारे SAQ आया था which was pernicious anemia and NMG, like I've added few. So angina pectoris का लोग diagnosis देखे. So just see, I've wrote probable diagnosis is angina pectoris and I've mentioned it briefly over here. Okay, it is a symptom of acute chest pain and so on. All right, and I've included this diagram. Okay, जो like in physiology you'll find that there are no much diagrams, but अगर आप आपके imagination से डाल सकते हैं, then that is going to fetch you marks. And you will see just मैं diagrams add कर रही हूँ, they are not very perfect. All right, you just need to sketch out and you just need to keep the examiner knowing that yeah, you know stuff. Like myasthenia gravis में I added this eyelid drooping, that I know what is ptosis, it is drooping of eyelid, वो आंख पे कहीं होता. So the examiner knows कि okay, yeah, she knows something. All right, now look at how I've included flow charts. All right, like angina pectoris ka kya flow chart hai, and then over here myasthenia gravis ka I've added this flow chart, I've added this muscle diagram. So it need not be perfect. I just used color pens to write the flow chart and color pencils. Make sure that you don't use light color ke color pencils, because see I've used over here and वो scanning में नहीं आए. तो अगर आपके final papers में अगर वैसा हुआ, then it will be a problem. So try to use dark papers. So ये हो गया बोल्ड हेडिंग्स एंड सब हेडिंग्स आपके रहना. नाउ देयर इज एन एसएक्यू, कोई भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है जहां पर यू कैन नॉट ड्रॉ डायग्राम्स, लाइक पर्नीशियस एनीमिया का एसएक्यू आप क्या ही डायग्राम उतार सकते हैं ना. तो इसमें आई हैव स्ट्रक्चर्ड द आंसर वेल, एंड ये मेरे को मेरे रिविजन नोट से हासिल हुआ. दैट आई हैव रिटन डेफिनेशन, आई हैव रिटन कॉज, आई हैव रिटन द क्लिनिकल फीचर्स, टाइप्स ऑफ आरबीसीज आप देख सकते हैं. मैंने कैसे आई हाउ आई अंडरलाइन सब हेडिंग्स. इट इज लुकिंग नीट राइट, एंड मेरे को इसमें 6 मार्क्स मिले out of 7, which is good. And I think that वही maximum रहते, कभी कभार 7 आपको मिल सकते हैं. All right. Now make sure that you draw simple well labeled sketches, and make sure that you manage time effectively, and write the question paper number on top of the answer sheet. आपको question number देखो, you can see the live example. मैंने यहाँ पर question paper जो है वो like maybe I'll draw and let you know. यहाँ पर I've wrote the question paper in the corner. Oops, this is too thick. Anyways, guys, you get the idea, right? So यहाँ पर जो है मैंने क्वेश्चन पेपर कॉर्नर में लिखा, and it is not even being seen. यहाँ पर it is being seen. So make sure that you write your answer number on top and middle of the paper always. Okay, and इससे भी ज्यादा आपको बड़ा लिखना चाहिए for the examiner to know. Alright, and जब भी आपको 8 कॉम क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, it is very scoring, so make sure that आप भी उसको अच्छे से structure करो, write subheadings and everything, and answer it well. Now this is the desired answer length I've written over here, with LAQ coming to 8 to 11 pages, SAQs and VSAQs and MCQs. All right. Uh, yeah. Now, how to tackle MCQs smartly. Now, watch out for keywords कि आप लोग के questions में sometimes they can ask except, not, incorrect, false, right? All of these except stuff. So you make sure that you underline those, because you tend to forget it. Read all options, and you can, अगर आपको बाज़ MCQs ऐसे रहते हैं, but you don't know the answer, you can use the elimination method. And I think we have all learned it from NEET कि जो भी answers you think are wrong, you just cut them out and you will lead it towards the right answer. Now, these are the common mistakes that can cost you marks, and these are extra tips that can score you distinction. So common mistakes that can cost you marks is skipping headings and subheadings. Paragraph wise answers आप लोग लिख रहे, they will not read your answer and they'll be very not impressed, and you have to impress them. So make sure that you include subheadings, diagrams, flowcharts, and don't write paragraphs. All right. Now, ignoring keywords asked in the question. Okay, make sure that आप keywords के related कुछ तो लिखे जो लोग question में पूछे. Writing too slowly, yeah, never do that, and leaving questions unanswered. Now, writing too slowly, मेरे साथ क्या हुआ था? Biochemistry paper 1 में, because it was my first final exam of MBBS. Now I've started it late. I've entered it examination में को question paper मिल गया. Now मैं color pencils जमा रही हूँ table पे, highlighters जमा रही हूँ, सामने eraser, pencil सब लिख रही हूँ answer sheet के तरफ. And already I think मेरे 7 to 8 minutes उसमें चले गए, and then मैं हल्लू सब जमा के handwriting calligraphy wise करके I was writing answer, and in the end मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ, it was 12:30 and I was left with half an hour for 3 VSAQs, or for 3 SAQs, all VSAQs and MCQs. And I managed to complete that in half an hour somehow, but मेरे को उसमें marks कम आए paper 1 में. So alhamdulillah, I have managed it in paper 2 and practicals, and I managed to get a distinction. So make sure कि आप slowly लिखना start मत करो. Make sure कि आप पहला answer जब से लिख रहे, your pen should be very fast. Your hand will hurt a lot, but please, for 3 hours, manage it. You have to score distinction, right? Now, start answers with definition and stuff if they're asking. Now, attempt every question. Never leave any question unattempted. कि हाजी अली बहुत famous quote देते कि if you don't know about goat, tie the goat to a tree and explain the tree. अगर if they ask you something, like if they're asking you a nerve, okay, if special senses का question आया कि write the sensory pathway of eye reflex, and you don't know that, but you know that eye में something ophthalmic nerve तो है, and अब ophthalmic nerve का कुछ तो डाल दो, आपको anatomy में भी पढ़े होंगे तो कुछ तो वहां से डाल दो. All right, optic nerve जो भी है. Now that is how you do it. All right, that if you don't know a topic, try to explain it somehow and do it in the end. Don't do it in the starting of your answers कि आप पहला ऐसे कि वही लिखे जो आपको नहीं है. Write it in the end, but write something related to it. They'll give you at least 2 or 1 mark for it, which is very important for you to get distinction. All right, and keep handwriting legible throughout the paper. Now, marks game, आप सबको जब से I think circular आया, many of you were confused because I've been receiving messages that you don't know about the pass percentage 40, 60, 60 something तो है circular में. But this is how you, there are 3 golden rules and आपको 3 भी satisfy करने होंगे to get pass. Okay, अगर आप एक भी satisfy नहीं करें, you will fail. Now, theory aggregate, paper 1 and paper 2 मिलाकर you should have it more than 40%. Alright, practical you should have it more than 40%. And overall ये दो को मिला के you should have it more than 50%. अगर आपके practical में 40% से ज़्यादा marks नहीं आए, you will fail. भले ही आपकी theory 80% हो, overall 90% हो, but आपका practical कुछ नहीं है, तो आप fail हो जाएंगे. Okay, so this is how you have to do it. I've added examples. आप लोग बाद में पढ़ सकते हैं. I think the PPTs will be shared. Now, the last paper syndrome, paper 2, last paper syndrome, I have faced it. My batchmates have faced it, but I don't want you guys to face it. हम लोग को भी 2 holidays थे paper 2 से पहले, and we have lost 1 holiday in last paper syndrome कि उसको postpone कर करके एग्जाम के बाद कहाँ जाएंगे वो सब प्लान करके. बट नो, प्लीज डू इट इन योर ब्रेक्स, बट मैनेज टू स्टडी. जैसा मैं प्लान आपको लोग को रिविजन प्लान दी, stick to it and you will be heading towards distinction inshallah. Okay, the exam isn't over until the last paper is submitted. Now, if in the question paper surprises you, कोई bouncer question आ जाए, कुछ भी आ जाए, don't panic at all. And bouncer questions का ना, everybody asks me, आ सकता है क्या, आ सकता है क्या, but I tell them, अगर आप HAQs पढ़ेंगे, nothing will be a bouncer question to you. Because bouncer क्या होता है मालूम, HAQs के SAQs कभी LAQs पूछ ले सकते हैं, या VSAQs भी कभी कभार पूछ सकते हैं, but I don't think आप लोग को उतना लोग scare करेंगे. But SAQs कभी कभार HAQs के LAQs पूछे जा सकते हैं. So make sure कि HAQs में जो भी क्वेश्चन है, आपको कैसा भी पढ़े, don't miss anything. All right, don't panic, attempt smartly, tackle tough ones later. All right, now practicals में, this is how you will be heading towards practicals. I think आपको hematology आपके लिए 5 sections रहेंगे including grand viva. तो ये जो भी जितने भी सेक्शंस हैं यहाँ पर, इसके साथ आपको वाइवा भी होगा. ऑलराइट, लाइक हिमेटोलॉजी के एक्सपेरिमेंट्स के साथ भी आपको वाइवा रहेगा, क्लिनिकल एग्जामिनेशंस के साथ भी वाइवा रहेगा, एंड लास्ट में यू विल आल्सो हैव योर ग्रैंड वाइवा. एंड दिस इज द मार्क्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, एवरीथिंग. You'll be doing RBC, WBC experiments in hematology. In clinical examinations, you'll be testing sensory reflexes and so on. आपके पास बीपी मेजर नहीं रहता. एंड या मेक श्योर दैट यू नो रियली नो बीपी. कि एग्जामिनर आपको पूछा कि पेशेंट का बीपी क्या है, एंड यू सेड 120/80. नो, इट इज नॉट प्रैक्टिकल. प्लीज डोंट डू दैट. ऑलराइट, memorize normal values of RBC count and WBC count because they ask that a lot in while in Viva. Know the size, shape, and color of all WBCs. Dress neatly and professionally. All right, and keep your record and manual complete. And yeah, आपको final practical से पहले, I think they might keep some demonstration sessions for you guys, so make sure that you attend it and practice. अगर आपको कोई भी experiment miss हो गया, आप absent थे, make sure कि आप teacher को please 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 बोलकर वो practice करें. Otherwise examiner के सामने if you mess up in experiment, they are not going to score you. All right, now yeah, so these are the practical videos that you must watch. Now इसमें आपके ये आप देख सकते हैं, and this will score you. All right, now please don't let this be your strategy because you will be debarred. All right, please don't let this be your strategy. Thank you all. Wishing you all the very best for your examinations. In case आपके कोई questions है, in the end, I think after all speakers finish their speaking, we'll be having a Q&A session. So make sure कि आपके कोई भी doubts है, तो you can ask. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Manara 9. That was concise, motivating, and super helpful, and full of practical advice. MashaAllah, you have really helped simplify the subject for all of us and given us a whole new perspective on how to enjoy learning physiology instead of fearing it. May Allah bless you for sharing your knowledge with us. At this moment, I would like to invite Muhammad Sadeem to address the gathering and share few words about the vision behind this session and the team that worked tirelessly to organize it. Over to you, Brother Sadeem.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is my voice is reaching to everyone? Okay,
Yes.
before we move on to the next segment, we would like to take a few minutes to introduce you to IMSA. Okay, IMSA stands for Initiative of Medicals for Service and Academics. It is a non-profit platform of medical students across Telangana dedicated to academic excellence, self improvement, and service to society under the guidance of Islamic values. Our vision is simple: to become better Muslims, better students, and ultimately the better doctors. At IMSA, we believe that medical education goes beyond textbooks and examinations. We aim to nurture students who excel academically, contribute meaningfully to the society, and grow spiritually and personally. In a sense, we strive to grow together in both deen and dunya. As you can see on the screen, IMSA functions through various committees. Each committee offers different opportunities for students to learn, contribute, and discover their talents. Whether your interest lies in leadership, public speaking, designing, content creation, event management, or community service, there is a place for everyone in IMSA. Okay. Over the past year, IMSA has organized numerous academic initiatives, including exam guidance sessions for MBBS students, which is one of these, research guidance, ICMR, STS mentorship, and career guidance sessions for pathways such as USMLE and MRCP. Our goal is to support medical students at every stage of their journey and help them navigate medicine with confidence and clarity. We also conduct workshops in graphic designing, leadership, communication skills, mental health awareness, dawa, and professional development because we believe that becoming a good doctor requires much more than academic knowledge. It requires compassion, communication, leadership, and lifelong learning. However, IMSA is not only about academics. One of the most beautiful aspects of our organization is volunteering and community service through old age home visits, orphanage programs, school visits, and health awareness initiatives. Our members get opportunities to translate compassion into action. As Muslims, we believe that the best of people are those who are most beneficial to others, and these activities help us live by that principle. Okay, you may be getting why join IMSA. Many students initially join IMSA seeking guidance, but they stay because they find mentorship, opportunities, meaningful friendships, and a sense of purpose. As a member, you gain access to academic guidance, mentorship from seniors, volunteering opportunities, skill development workshops, and networking with medical students across Telangana. As you begin this beautiful journey of MBBS, we warmly invite you to become a part of the IMSA family. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your medical journey, grant you beneficial knowledge, and make you a source of benefit for humanity. Jazakumullah khairan. The membership form QR code is now displayed on the screen. We would be delighted to welcome you into the IMSA family. Okay, everyone feel free to scan the code, register, and join us in learning, serving, and growing together. Inshallah.
Jazakallahu khair, Brother Sadeem. That addressing was very beautiful. Now let's move to the speaker who will help us exploring the world of learning complicated nerves to learning relations of organ, a subject that feels so overwhelming but builds important base of future medicine and is full of fascinating concepts. Yes, you're right, it's anatomy. Our speaker for anatomy is Sarah Khanam of 2024 batch from VRK Medical College who secured overall distinction and exclusively distinction in anatomy and biochemistry. MashaAllah, Mazid Fazil. She'll be guiding us on how to approach anatomy effectively with clarity from understanding diagrams to drawing it in exam and how to frame theory answers in anatomy paper and most commonly asked viva questions in clinical skills. So let's give a warm virtual welcome to Sarah Khanam as she guides us through mastering anatomy with confidence. Over to you, Sarah.
Assalamu alaikum everybody. Welcome to the anatomy guidance session. This is Sarah Khanam from 2024 batch currently studying in Dr. B.R.K. Women's Medical College. I know it's the end of first year, but I really want to congratulate you all for joining into MBBS. On that note, let's begin with my introduction. So basically, I have passed MBBS first year with a distinction in anatomy and biochemistry. In an anatomy, the subject I really love. So I'll try my best to make this session really memorable and understandable for you all. Okay. So basically ये session will be divided into दो part में. So पहले part में we'll talk about the theory paper and next part में I'll give you a brief about the practical examination. Okay. So let's begin with the theory paper. In the theory, as we all know, first we have LAQs, then SAQs, then VSAQs, and then the MCQs. But in most of the colleges, कैसे रहता during internals या फिर during the FAs, we'll get a plain answer booklet. But that's not the case during the final examination. क्योंकि in final examination, we get a single rule answer booklet जिसमें approximately 57 to 60 pages रहते. And trust me guys, these pages will provide you ample of space for writing your answers perfectly. And in case समझो कि आपका आंसर बुकलेट फिनिश हो गया and you have to write more answers but you want to provide additional sheets, so please use your answer booklets wisely. And I want to ask you a question here. What do you think is the most important thing during the examination? Maybe the presentation or the handwriting? But no, it's a time management. Like when you maintain your time properly, जब भी आप अच्छे से present कर सकते हैं आपका paper and जब भी आप अपनी handwriting को अच्छे से manage कर सकते हैं. As my co-speakers have perfectly told you about time management, I'll just brush upon this topic and tell you कि finish your LAQs approximately 11 बजे के आसपास and SAQs को 12:30 के आसपास and VSAQs को आधा घंटा दीजिए and MCQs को 5 to 10 minutes are enough. And I want to share a very important tip here, which I really face is कि for example, if I started a question, for example कोई भी LAQ, so I thought कि अगर मैं LAQ को 30 minutes में complete करूँगी, but ऐसा नहीं होता था. I used to complete it around 35 minutes. I used to complete it around 35 minutes. So what you have to do is set a baseline in your brain 5 minutes पहले. Example, you have to complete LAQ in 30 minutes. You think कि you trick your brain thinking that कि आपको LAQ complete करना है 25 minutes में. So what your brain will do is it will automatically write faster. So because of that, जो LAQ आपको 25 minutes में complete करना था, वो LAQ आप time से 30 minutes में complete करते. This is how you are going to maintain a good time management during your examination. And next most important thing I want to tell you is please finish first MCQs, then go with the other things. लाइक अगर आप MCQs पहले खत्म कर लेते हैं देन व्हाट विल हैपन इज आप जो नर्वस रहते हैं या फिर एंजियस रहते हैं थ्रू आउट दिस सेशन सो द एग्जामिनेशन वो नहीं रहता. पहले आप आपके MCQs कर लीजिए, देन LAQs करो, देन VSAQs करो, देन SAQs करो एंड देन आफ्टर फिनिशिंग ऑल द एग्जामिनेशन आप वापस फिर से MCQs के पास जाइए, उसको रीचेक कीजिए. अगर आप ऐसा करेंगे तो यू विल गेट ट्वाइस चांस ऑफ रीचेकिंग योर MCQs एंड आपके जो भी ब्लंडर्स या फिर मिस्टेक्स रहते हैं उसके चांसेस भी कम हो जाते हैं. ओके सो लाइक सेट अ बेसलाइन कि 5 मिनट पहले आपको कंप्लीट करना है एंड स्टार्ट योर क्वेश्चन पेपर विद द MCQs. सो लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट सेशन कि हाउ टू राइट एन आंसर. सो बेसिकली जब आपको आपका क्वेश्चन पेपर मिल जाता व्हाट विल डू, पहले MCQs कर लेना, देन टर्न द पेपर एंड सारे क्वेश्चंस को अच्छे से रीड कीजिए. एग्जांपल कि समझो कि आपका जो LAQ है उसमें आपको डायग्नोसिस समझ में नहीं आ रहा या फिर कोई बाउंसर क्वेश्चन आ गया, तो जब क्या करना, स्टॉप विद पहले LAQ मत कीजिए, SAQ करो, देन VSAQ करो एंड देन गो बैक टू LAQ. स्टार्ट विद द सेशन जहाँ पे आपको मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन आते हैं. अगर आप स्टार्ट करते हो सेशन जब आपको बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, आप बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस है वो सेशन में, तो क्या रहता जो एग्जामिनर है उसको अच्छा इंप्रेशन पड़ता अबाउट यू. As we all know, कि first impression is the last impression. So the examiner correct your paper with that impression in his mind. So if you give a good impression, you will get good marks, and if you give a bad impression, you will get bad marks. So basically, start with this session जिसको आपको बहुत अच्छे से आता. Then again, जो the least known session उसको आप end में कीजिए. Okay, and the next thing which I really want you all to follow and remember after this session is anatomy equals to diagram. What? Anatomy equals to diagram, but not COSEP diagram. The diagram should be neat, well labeled and large diagram. Guys, please draw diagrams at least cover करे एक पेज को या फिर 75% of the पेज को कवर करना. छोटे डायग्राम्स मत ड्रॉ कीजिए. एंड नेक्स्ट थिंग हियर इज, अब समझो कि आपको क्वेश्चन लिखना है, एग्जाम्पल लाइक maybe cubital fossa. So what you do is पहले आप डायग्राम बनाते something कि fossa है, cubital fossa है, then what you do is you label the diagram. So basically label the diagram on the left side or right side में, या फिर दो भी साइड पे आप उसको लेबल मत कीजिए. If you label it only on one side, it look very clean and tidy. And after diagrams and labeling on one side, then what you have to do is draw a box around the diagram. After doing this, your diagram will be complete. Okay. Then उसके बाद क्या करना है? You have to write few points explaining the diagram. So basically, most of the students क्या करते हैं? वो लोग बस diagram बनाते and like नीचे के जो भी points है वो नहीं करते. So ऐसा नहीं करना रहता. लाइक थोड़े एग्जामिनर्स कैसे रहते हैं, वो लोग सोचते हैं कि अच्छा बच्चा बस डायग्राम बना दिया लेकिन पॉइंट्स नहीं लिखा. सो बेसिकली थिंक कि बस आप डायग्राम्स को याद करके आए, ऐसा नहीं करना रहता. ओके सो बेसिकली आप क्या करना है, डायग्राम बनाओ, उसको लेबल करो ऑन वन साइड, देन ड्रॉ अ बॉक्स अराउंड द डायग्राम जिससे आपका डायग्राम इज कंप्लीट एंड परफेक्ट। देन नीचे राइट सम पॉइंट्स एक्सप्लेनिंग द डायग्राम। सो फर्स्ट आप डायग्राम बनाना, देन पॉइंट्स एक्सप्लेन करना, ओके। Then next thing very important here is the presentation. How are you going to maintain a good presentation in anatomy examination? By writing in points, not in paragraphs. By using headings and subheadings. By underlining the important points. By doing this, you will maintain a good presentation. And trust me, a good presented paper is better than a paper having a good handwriting. I know handwriting is very important for an answer booklet, but जो भी handwriting से better है is maintaining answer. Like handwriting अच्छी रहना, it should be clear, but presentation is more important than a good handwriting. Okay, and then don't write too little or waste your time writing extra answers. जितने marks आपको question पूछे उतने ही marks का आपको answer लिखना है. Extra time waste मत कीजिए answer लिखने के लिए. And next thing here is maintain good handwriting, give proper spacing and label diagrams clearly. अब ये जो 3 points you can do only when you practice. As we know, practice makes a man perfect. आप जब practice करते handwriting को, diagrams को, सब diagrams and handwriting will be perfect during the examination. Like मेरी जो preparation time था 1 month के time पे, मैं at least 1 घंटा देती थी daily for handwriting के वास्ते. So at least give half an hour for your handwriting daily. It will help you writing better and it will be having a grip for your examination. Okay. And this here is the colors which you have to use during examination. Arteries के लिए red use करना, veins के वास्ते blue, nerves के वास्ते yellow, lymphatics के वास्ते green, muscles के वास्ते pink या फिर red, and bones के वास्ते draw with pencil, and cartilage के वास्ते blue. So you can note this down or take a screenshot of this. And then the thing which you have to remember here is, remember, a well presented answer is easier for the examiner to read and award marks. And what do you want in examination? Marks. So present your answer sheet very like perfectly. And next thing here is how to write a LAQ. So basically LAQ को कैसे लिखना? Here is first what you have to do is read the question carefully, identify and underline the clinical features. So here is the example of a question. A 25-year-old male came with the complaints of running nose. Oh, running nose is a clinical feature. तो क्या करना उसको underline करना. Then क्या है? Headache, underline करो. Then block nose to the ENT OP. The doctor suspected viral infection. So basically it is something related to the nose, something related to inflammation या फिर blocking. So maybe ये rhinitis हो सकता, rhinorrhea हो सकता, something कुछ तो इससे related है बोल के आपका idea मिलता. Then what you have to do is read the points asking below. अच्छा नीचे क्या दिए वाला है, क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ पैरानेसल एयर साइनसिस. ओ सो बेसिकली क्या है आंसर, साइनसाइटिस है. इसका डायग्नोसिस क्या है, साइनसाइटिस. बट कौन सा साइनसाइटिस, राइट रिलेशन ऑफ द मैक्सिलरी एयर साइनसिस. सो द क्लिनिकल डायग्नोसिस क्या रहता, maxillary air sinusitis. So this is how you are going to make a clinical diagnosis. But this trick won't like हमेशा काम नहीं आती. So आप क्या करना, पहले से प्रिपेयर रहना. कैसे प्रिपेयर करते, there are many PDFs like WhatsApp पे बहुत PDFs रहते हैं, Telegram पे बहुत PDF रहते हैं. अब वो PDFs पे like clinical questions को अच्छे से पढ़िए, उसको अच्छे से याद करिए. And second thing what you can do is there is a like question bank known as Times Medico. उसमें क्या रहता, after every LAQ they give the clinical features. लाइक ये डिजीज के वास्ते ऐसे क्लिनिकल फीचर्स रहते हैं. व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज बटिफाई कर लो इसको या फिर उसको याद कर लो अच्छे से, सो दैट अगर वो डिसीज आपके एलक्यू में आ जाए सो यू कैन लाइक राइट द क्लिनिकल डायग्नोसिस फास्टर. And as we all know, anatomy equals to diagram, but not only a diagram. The diagram should be neat and well labeled diagram, and a large diagram too. And next thing here is write answers according to the marks distribution, as marks are awarded stepwise. So यहाँ पे देखिए, there is another example is discuss the brachial plexus under the following headings: formation, flow charts, and the palsies. So क्या है, फॉर्मेशन के वास्ते 4 मार्क्स दिए वाले हैं. सो व्हाट यू हैव टू डू इज फॉर्मेशन के वास्ते 4 मार्क्स के हिसाब से लिखना. एंड फ्लो चार्ट के वास्ते 5 मार्क्स दिए वाले तो 5 मार्क्स के हिसाब से लिखना. एंड पैल्सिस के वास्ते 3 मार्क्स ईच. तो उसके हिसाब से आप आंसर्स लिखिए. डोंट राइट एनी एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट्स और लाइक चुप पेपर को आगे मतलब खींचते मत जाइए. एंड नेक्स्ट थिंग हियर इज SAQs and VSAQs. So the formula in SAQs and VSAQs is draw more and write less. Okay, so what you have to do is, for example, आपको कोई SAQ आया, example parts of the internal capsule. So what you have to do is एकदम इन पार्ट्स ऑफ इंटरनल कैप्सूल से स्टार्ट नहीं करना रहता. यू हैव टू स्टार्ट विद द इंट्रोडक्शन. आप क्या करना, पहले इंटरनल कैप्सूल बोल के लिखना एंड देन इंट्रोड्यूस अबाउट द इंटरनल कैप्सूल. अगर आप स्टार्ट कर रहे विद द बेसिक्स ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, सो एग्जामिनर थिंक्स अच्छा बच्चे को बेसिक आता, सो इट गिव्स अ गुड इंप्रेशन ऑन द एग्जामिनर. ओके, सो स्टार्ट योर SAQs विद इंट्रोडक्शन एंड देन क्या करना, स्टार्ट विद द मेन आंसर. तो मेन आंसर कैसे रहता, पहले डायग्राम बनाना एंड देन लेबल करना ऑन ओनली वन साइड एंड देन close your diagram with a box around it. So because of this, your diagram is complete, neat and tidy. And उसके नीचे क्या करना रहता? Write points explaining the diagram. This is very important. Don't forget to explain your diagrams. And you have to end your question with applied anatomy. Guys, even अगर आपको applied anatomy question में पूछे ही नहीं, फिर भी end your answer with the applied anatomy. At least 2 to 3 points applied anatomy के साथ end कीजिए आपके answer को. And never leave a question unanswered. And a good presented paper is like बहुत अच्छा रहता है, then a paper with a beautiful handwriting. So the formulas for SAQs and VSAQs here is introduction, diagrams, main answers and clinical anatomy. So what you have to do is, अगर आपको SAQs आया तो SAQ में minimum 2 to 3 diagram बनाना रहता है. Minimum, just minimum, maximum आप कितने ही बना सकते हैं. And for VSAQs, at least one diagram is the minimum thing which you can do. And next thing here is, why is histology and embryology so important? Now most of the people क्या करते हैं, वो लोग अपना time usually gross anatomy के वास्ते ज़्यादा involve कर लेते हैं and histology and embryology के वास्ते just बहुत कम time देते हैं. So this is not how you have to do. So what क्या करना यहाँ पे, there is the marks distribution जो आपको 24 के पेपर में या फिर 23 के पेपर में दिया वाला है. देखिए पेपर 1 में you got like 21 marks के आपको आंसर आए थे and 18 marks in पेपर 2 and same in पेपर में 18 marks and पेपर 2 में 18 marks. So basically 100 marks के एक पेपर में they are getting 20 marks की histology and embryology. So ये कवर कर आपके 1/5 of the marks. So studying histology and embryology is very very important. Okay, so अब histology के answers कैसे लिखना? So what's the most important thing for like histology के वास्ते is carry your HNE pencils. Don't forget to carry your HNE pencils. Carrying HNE pencils is like the basics. And यहाँ पे there is an example like histology of the liver. So what you have to do is draw a large circle using like bangle या फिर water bottle की cap से. And then what you have to do is draw the histology of the liver in the circle and then like उसको label करिए on only on the one side. Don't label on both the side and draw a box after drawing the histology or the histology part. And then for SCQs के वास्ते 5 to 6 points explaining the histological part, and for BSc के वास्ते 2 to 3 points. And if you want, you can end the diagram in your answer with applied anatomy. अगर आपको करना है करिए, वरना आप नहीं कर सकते, it's okay. Cumulative, is this a question of histology? So if you are not ending with applied anatomy, it's okay. Okay. So next is embryology. So for embryology के वास्ते, for example, here is the development of thyroid. तो अब क्या करना? Start with the introduction. So basically, this is also a question from embryology. So if you don't start with introduction, it's fine. But it's okay अगर आप 1-2 points के introduction दिए तो भी. So अब like पहले introduction दे दो 1-2 points के वास्ते. And then what you have to do, you can either do the flow chart or just diagrammatic representation. So अगर आपके पास time बचा, आप फ्लो चार्ट भी बनाइए, डायग्रामेटिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन भी बनाइए, और यू कैन डू दी बोथ थिंग्स. ओके, एंड यू कैन एंड विद अप्लाइड एनाटॉमी और दी like the consequences. अगर आप अच्छे से डेवलपमेंट नहीं हुआ तो यू कैन डू दैट. एंड नेक्स्ट थिंग हियर is the resources. For gross anatomy, use Vishram Singh. As we know कि Vishram Singh is the gold book for anatomy. Like उसमें diagrams रहते हैं, applied anatomy रहती है, everything is there in Vishram Singh. So please follow Vishram Singh for gross. And for histology, follow IB Singh और योगेश. So basically मैं योगेश follow करी थी. Like मेरे पास उसकी एक book थी जिसमें like only जो हिस्टोलॉजी का पार्ट था वो, एंड उसके नीचे जस्ट 5 to 6 पॉइंट्स अबाउट हिस्टोलॉजी थी. तो दैट इज अ वेरी गुड बुक. इफ यू कैन गेट दैट बुक और उसकी सॉफ्ट कॉपी इज एनफ, यू कैन डू दैट फॉर हिस्टोलॉजी. एंड फॉर एम्ब्रियो के वास्ते आईबी सिंह एंड न्यूरो के वास्ते विश्राम सिंह. एज वी नो कि विश्राम सिंह इज गोल्ड फॉर ग्रॉस. सेम टू सेम न्यूरो के वास्ते विश्राम सिंह इज वेरी गुड. एंड जेनेटिक्स के वास्ते यू कैन फॉलो एनी पीडीएफ जो आपको व्हाट्सएप फिर टेलीग्राम पे मिल जाता. एंड also in like विश्राम सिंह की जो न्यूरो की बुक like एम्ब्रियो की बुक रहती, उसके सामने दे गिव्स like वहाँ पे थोड़े जेनेटिक्स के भी पॉइंट्स रहते, तो आप वहाँ से भी कर सकते. फॉर दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द रिसोर्सेज. एंड नेक्स्ट इज द वीडियोस. ग्रॉस के वास्ते यू कैन फॉलो जौहरी MBBS एंड एम्ब्रियो के वास्ते यू कैन फॉलो डॉक्टर रोज. एंड लेट्स कम टू द क्वेश्चन बैंक व्हिच इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. You can follow HCQs, which is the goal, and next times Medico or SIAM. What I did was I followed HCQs throughout the year, and at the end, the just 1 month for the examination, I combined HCQs plus time medicos. So that is also good. If you can't do that, बस HCQs कर लो, it's enough. एंड नेक्स्ट थिंग इज 10 to 15 ईयर्स के PYQs एक बार देख लीजिए, उसको अच्छे से याद कर लीजिए. क्यों बोले तो वही PYQs मोस्टली आपको रिपीट होते हैं इन दी एग्जामिनेशन. एंड फॉर एब्डोमेन या फिर थोरैक्स के वास्ते टू विजुअलाइज दी locations of all the locations and the organs के like surfaces क्या है, उसके parts को से, borders को से, उसके structures को से pass हो रहे. For that you can use the anatomy का 3D apps like anatomy learning 3D anatomy atlas or या फिर biodigital human. I basically followed biodigital human. It's a very good like website which you can follow for visualization. And as basic is very important for anatomy, like use the 3D apps as it helps in better visualization and understanding of the anatomical structures. Okay, and next thing here is the do's and don'ts, that is attempt all the questions, big diagrams with labeling, time management, presentation, handwriting, and read adcom. Guys please read adcom. Like अगर आप पूरा adcom नहीं पढ़ सकते so at least read the सब headings की, ये heading आता ये heading आता, वो सब बस आप like याद कर लीजिए and then उसके नीचे आप कोई भी information लिख सकते हैं, like relevant information लिख सकते हैं under this heading. So read adcom, it's very important, and applied anatomy, that's also so important. And don't panic and not writing about मार्क्स के हिसाब से लिखो, दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड नेक्स्ट थिंग हियर इज एक कितना लिखना फॉर एलक्यू के वास्ते राइट एटलीस्ट 8 to 10 pages, SAQ के वास्ते 2 to 3 pages, and VSQ के वास्ते 1 page is enough. So total all the pages हम लोग combine करें तो it is like 36 to 46 pages, like which is okay. Okay, so next thing here is practical examination. As we know कि practical बहुत important है, but why? क्यों? There is a 2 scenarios given here. कि first paper में आपको आए like in theory paper you got like दो में भी आपको same marks है 70 and 75, but in practical in case 1 you got 70 marks and in case 2 you got 80 marks. So basically if you get more marks in practical your overall score will improve. So आपको distinction के वास्ते you have to get 225 out of 300. So आपके theory जितना important theory है उतना important practical रहता. So please theory and practical को दोनों को भी importance दीजिए. So next thing here is marks distribution. So आप क्या करो, इसका screenshot ले लो या फिर इसको note down कर लीजिए. And next thing here is histology. सो बेसिकली आपकी रिकॉर्ड बुक्स कंप्लीट कीजिए. एंड फॉर स्पॉटर स्लाइड्स लाइक आपको 10 स्लाइड देते हैं एंड हर स्लाइड के वास्ते आपको 2 मार्क्स रहते हैं. सो एग्जाम्पल आपका लिवर है, पैंक्रियास है एंड थायराइड है. सो डोंट जस्ट राइट लिवर है, जस्ट लिवर 1 2 पैंक्रियास ऐसा मत करिए. लिवर के बाद उसके लाइक 2 पॉइंट्स लिखिए उसके बारे में. इफ यू डू दिस यू विल गेट ऑल 2 मार्क्स. अगर बस आप लिवर या फिर पैंक्रियास बस ऐसी हेडिंग्स लिख के छोड़ देते हैं यू विल गेट जस्ट हाफ या फिर 1 मार्क्स से मिलता. सो लिवर लिखिए एंड उसके बाद उसके लाइक 2 to 3 पॉइंट्स लिखिए उसके बारे में. एंड फॉर स्पॉटर स्लाइड्स ऐसे ही करिए ला डायग्राम. एंड फॉर डिस्कशन स्लाइड्स एंड जेनेटिक चार्ट्स बी कॉन्फिडेंट व्हिच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. And next thing here is that the organs and viscera. So organs and viscera के वास्ते what is very important is being confident and the anatomical positions. The anatomical position of the organ is like the basics. अगर आपको बोले कि लिवर को आपको होल्ड करना है so like आप सोचेंगे ऐसा एल फॉर लिवर सो लिवर को लेफ्ट साइड में होल्ड करना है. दैट्स नॉट द केस. लिवर को राइट साइड में होल्ड करते हैं. सो व्हाट एग्जामिनर थिंक्स कि ये बच्चा लाइक द नॉर्मल एनाटॉमिकल पोजीशन ही नहीं आता इसको, सो डाइसेक्शन ही अटेंड नहीं करा. सो इट विल गिव अ वेरी बैड इंप्रेशन ऑन द एग्जामिनर. डोंट डू दैट. एटलीस्ट द एनाटॉमिकल पोजीशन को एंड इसके जो भी स्ट्रक्चर्स रहते हैं उसको अच्छे से याद करके जाइए. एंड यू कैन फॉलो द यूट्यूब सोर्स दैट इज 5 hours of anatomy, which is very good for like organ and viscera के वास्ते. And for like limbs के वास्ते we'll get compartments like extensor compartment हो गया, flexor compartment हो वैसे मिलता. तो वहाँ पे you learn the on of the muscles. You can do that by revising from the tables. And next thing here is nerve supply and blood supply of the compartment. Most of the students क्या करते हैं बस मसल को बट्टी मार के चले जाते हैं. ऐसा नहीं करना रहता. उसकी जो भी compartment है उसके blood supply and the nerve supply वो भी अच्छे से याद करके जाओ, वो भी पूछ लेते हैं. And next thing you can do here is अगर आप बहुत अच्छे से आंसर करें तो वो एग्जामिनर क्या करता आपको लाइक एक्स्ट्रा पॉइंट्स पूछता, लाइक अप्लाइड एनाटॉमी पूछ सकता. सो प्लीज उसको भी लर्न करके जाइए. एंड नेक्स्ट हियर इज ओरल्स और वाइवास. व्हाट वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट हियर इज बीइंग कॉन्फिडेंट. एंड बोन्स के वास्ते द एनाटॉमिकल पोजीशन ऑफ द बोन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. लाइक बोन्स में आपको ज्यादा नहीं पूछते, जस्ट द बेसिक्स पूछते. तो जस्ट बेसिक्स पढ़ के जाओ बोन के वास्ते. एंड रेडियोलॉजी में जस्ट आपके बेसिक्स पूछते कि ये एपी व्यू है, पीए व्यू है, कौन सी डाइस यूज करते. ऑस्ट्रियन रेडियोग्राफ जस्ट बेसिक्स पूछते तो अच्छे से पढ़ लेके जाओ, बेसिक्स रहता. एंड एम्ब्रियो एंड सॉफ्ट पार्ट के वास्ते रिवाइज द थ्योरी. लाइक थ्योरी में जो भी रहता mostly वही रहता है एम्ब्रियो एंड सॉफ्ट पार्ट्स के वास्ते. सो यू कैन डू दैट. एंड वीडियो रिसोर्सेज हियर इज एंजेलिना आइजैक एंड जोरी MBBS. ओके, एंड नेक्स्ट थिंग हियर is tips for practical. First thing is dress properly. As we know, first impression is the last impression. So dress properly. And if you don't know the answer, don't say कि मैं ये answer को नहीं पढ़ा. Just say कि sorry ma'am or sir, I can't recall at the moment. This is the best answer which you can give in any scenario. And next thing here is अगर आपको examiner like आप सही आंसर करें फिर भी एग्जामिनर इज लाइक आर्ग्यूइंग कि ये आंसर सही नहीं है तो एग्जामिनर को आप एक बार करेक्ट कीजिए, 2 बार करेक्ट कीजिए. बट फिर भी अगर एग्जामिनर आपकी बात नहीं सुन रहा तो लीव इट. आप बस कहिए कि हाँ सर आप ही सही बोल रहे थे, मे बी मैं सर कंफ्यूज हो गई. दैट्स इट. एंड मेंटेन गुड posture and eye contact while answering. It will give a very good impression on the examiner. And next thing here is revision. As my co-speakers have already told so much about revision, I'll just brush upon this topic and tell you कि active recall is very important and anatomy के वास्ते diagrams and like handwriting practice करिए. It is very important. And very most important thing here is maintain consistency rather than studying for long hours occasionally. Discipline here is very, very important in anatomy. Okay, so this is the question I really want to ask you all. Ki the last month will either make or break your result. So either make or break your result. So up last month is the last chance to pass. You have to get distinction. You have to get gold medals. So last month they gave you 100%, not 99.99%, but the 100%. पूरी जो hard work रहती last month पे कीजिए. I mean पूरे साल भी करना, but last month पे extra करना. So you will get more extra marks. So last month is very much important. And next thing here is make duas, believe in yourself. These are very important. Trust yourself, trust Allah Ta'ala. Everything will be fine. So thank you so much for listening the session. And I really wish आप लोग अच्छे से pass होना, not only अच्छे से pass होना, but pass होना with distinctions. Okay, thank you so much for kindly listening to me.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Sarah Khanam. That was insightful and crisp. You have made anatomy seem much more doable and even exciting. Inshallah, your tips will help us approaching it with more confidence. Thank you for your time and inspiring us to see the subject in a new light. And now it's time to turn the mic to you. Now that we have heard from all our inspiring speakers, it's your turn. This is your chance to ask questions, discuss, and clarify whatever on your mind. Whether it's about study schedules, notes making, revision, how to handle exam stress, or anything. Don't be shy. Drop your question in chat or raise your hands or unmute yourself because someone else might have wondering the same thing you are about to ask. Let's make this part a two-way conversation, interactive, fun, full of learning, and beneficial for everyone. Inshallah, we are waiting for your response. So the first question is how to start physiology if not started. Sister Manara, over to you.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. So to start physiology, सबसे पहले yeah, you have time left to start physiology. So अगर आप अब तक एक बार भी physiology नहीं पढ़े, then start with general physiology. All right, transport systems and stuff like that. If you did not start, अगर आपको थोड़ा तो basic मालूम है about general physiology and stuff like that, then you can start with paper 2 physiology as I mentioned in the PPT. If you have taken screenshot, well and good. Otherwise PPT share किए जाएंगे in IMSA group. तो आप उसका जितने में डेज अलॉट करिए उतने डेज में इंशाल्लाह 19 डेज में आपका सिलेबस कंप्लीट हो जाएगा इफ यू फॉलो HAQs ओनली ओके नाउ इज द टाइम टू स्टडी ओनली HAQs जज़ाकल्लाह खैर
So the next question is selective anatomy. Last time use कर सकते हैं. Question for Sarah.
Like basically for like revision at last moment आप use कर सकते हैं, but like आप if for the last moment आप use कर सकते हैं, but if you have like other options, like go for it.
For all the speakers, there is a next question. How is CRQ bank?
Sia's question bank is good, but I feel like HAQs have, मतलब मैं honestly मेरे पास first year में सिया की question bank भी थी and HAQs भी थी and मैं मेरे experience से बोल रही हूँ सिया and question bank is 99% same आपको कुछ 3 या 4 questions extra आते हैं and I don't think वो उतने necessary रहते because वो October 2004 2005 के तक के भी questions थे उसमें so CI is not really necessary right now अगर आप starting से follow करें then well and good अदरवाइज अभी आप HAQs लीजिए प्रिंट आउट लीजिए एंड 15 years PYQ से को रिलेट कर जो भी क्वेश्चंस आपको एक्स्ट्रा आ रहे एम्बेड इट इन योर HAQ आंसर आई डिड इट ऑल फॉर 3 subjects and alhamdulillah it was more than sufficient.
Okay, one more question, Manara. Any best notes for physiology answer और जोहरी MBBS notes पढ़ सकते हैं क्या physiology के लिए?
या अगर आप जोहारी नोट्स फॉलो कर रहे हैं देन वेल एंड गुड बट इसमें देखो दो सिनेरियोज है इफ यू वांट टू पास देन स्टडी जोहारी नोट्स एंड उसमें बट आपको LAQs में टेक्स्ट बुक के हिसाब से जाना पड़ता इफ यू वांट टू गेट डिस्टिंक्शन देन फॉलो योर टेक्स्ट बुक VSQs एंड बाज अनइम्पोर्टेंट SAQs जो PYQs में नहीं है सपोज बेस्ट अप्रोच विल बी ना अभी आप PYQs लियो HAQs लियो एक दिन का आप लोग टाइम लियो फॉर 3 subjects ठीक है सब जने क्यूज लियो, पीवाई क्यूज लियो। पीवाई क्यूज में जो भी क्वेश्चंस ना ज्यादातर आस्क हुए, क्यूज में उसके सामने स्टार्स डालते जाओ, सो यू नो विच क्वेश्चन हैज बीन मोस्ट आस्क्ड, एंड ट्राई टू रीड दैट क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम योर स्टैंडर्ड टेक्स्ट बुक्स एंड बाय फ्लो चार्ट्स एंड स्टफ। जो भी अनइम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, जब तक एक बार नहीं हुआ, अगर आपके पास टाइम नहीं है, यू कैन डेफिनेटली फॉलो फिजिकॉन नोट्स, सेम्बलिंगम, जोहारी नोट्स, एवरीथिंग, ओके, for SAQs and BSAQs. And Sembling for distinction B, yeah, you can use it, but try to include some definitions and standard matter from standard textbooks. Jazakallah khair.
So there is a suggestion question like physio को बहुत time लगता है more than 2 hours to learn an LAQ. Any suggestions from your side, Manana?
I would tell you that sort out your answers. सबसे पहले read ऊपर ऊपर से, अगर वो आपका LAQ CNS का रहा या something रहा, it is duly understandable because yeah, मेरे को भी CNS के लिए काफी time लगा because the pathways and stuff are very hard. But try to read that in morning, इंशाल्लाह अच्छे से समझो. You can watch short videos उसके ऊपर जो आपको visualize करने में helpful रहते हैं. YouTube पे I think medicos professionalis के videos हैं and stuff. You can definitely follow that and inshallah आपका आंसर जल्दी से याद होता. But don't try to give more time for LAQs because then आपके पास time नहीं रहता. Okay, try to follow notes for that.
So there is one more question which can be answered by any speaker, and the question is how to manage pre-finals.
So basically आप प्री फाइनल्स में क्या करो, लाइक जो प्री फाइनल्स रहते हैं उसमें आप एटलीस्ट ट्राई करिए कि आप 80% to 90% ऑफ द क्वेश्चन कंप्लीट कर लेना. व्हेन यू कंप्लीट 80 to 90% ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस इन लाइक प्री फाइनल्स में, सो आपको लाइक लास्ट मंथ में यू हैव लाइक आप लास्ट मंथ में एटलीस्ट 2 बार वो क्वेश्चन लाइक सेम क्वेश्चन को रिवाइज कर सकते. सो लाइक प्री फाइनल्स के टाइम पे लाइक मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज आप ग्रुप स्टडी कीजिए या फिर आप सेल्फ स्टडी कीजिए एंड अप्रोच योर प्री फाइनल्स लाइक जस्ट क्यू बैंक्स भी फॉलो कर सकते हैं ड्यूरिंग लाइक प्री फाइनल्स के वास्ते. एंड देन व्हेन यू हैव लाइक मोर टाइम, जब 1 मंथ बाकी रहता, जब आप जो बाकी क्वेश्चन जब आप कंप्लीट नहीं करें वो फॉलो कीजिए एंड सी इफ यू कैन कंप्लीट हाउ मच यू कैन प्री फाइनल्स के लिए. सो दैट्स इट.
One more suggestion needed for the question. Could highlighters and color pens be used? If yes, is it practical to exchange pens during examination, or is blue back pen with underlining with pencil is enough?
Yeah, highlighters and color pens can be used. Exchange pens during exam, don't try to पूरे 12 colors ले लेके मत बैठ जाओ, okay? Just have dark colors. Like I personally had purple color pen, brown color pen that I used for headings and subheadings. Usually मैं brown ही use करती थी, purple इतना दिखता भी नहीं. Red नहीं use करो, pink नहीं use करो because it is similar to red. And light colors तो हरगिज भी मत use करो. Dark green आप कर सकते, but again there is some kind of risk added to that. So try to use purple and दो तो कलर पेन्स में एक्सचेंज करो. एनाटॉमी के लिए तो आपको कलर पेंसिल्स ब्लू, रेड, एज सारा अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ब्यूटीफुली सेट, आपको वो यूज करना ही पड़ेगा. एंड मेरे लिए आई can we use ready-made HAQ notes? Yeah, you can use. They are pretty good, but try to correlate it with Sembylingum because to add flowcharts and diagrams. Physio को GK पाल use कर सकते हैं. Yes, absolutely. It is a big अच्छी खासी book है. And I've seen many questions related to physio, so I'm just answering. I'm sorry, Ashura. Um, yeah, sharing my scanned answer sheet. I don't think so. I can do that because वो basically internals के है, so it depends upon examiner to examiner. I am bound to not share it because इसमें थोड़े it could be controversial. Now, yeah, that's it. I think for me. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah, that was very great answering from your side. And one more question, which usually even we get during preparation: how to revise the syllabus one day before final exam?
One day before final exam, try to start with again. अगर आप अभी I'm giving you guys seriously follow this. PYQ से जो आप HAQs में ज़्यादा स्टार के मार्क कर दिए, try to read those questions first जो सबसे ज़्यादा PYQs में पूछे गए, and then go ahead with SAQs and वगैरह. Try to brush up flow charts and stuff like that if you have made notes well and good. अगर आप notes भी नहीं करे, then आप ऐसा कर ले सकते हो. Obviously, अगर आप notes नहीं बनाए, it would be difficult. You have to pull up an all-nighter, but inshallah it will pass. I personally pulled up all-nighters, so it was that. And
क्या बोली भाई ऑल नाइटर्स का ठीक सर.
Jazakallah, sister. And the next question for you, Sarah. How to identify spotters of astrology slides in final?
लाइक जो हिस्टोलॉजी स्लाइड्स रहते हैं बेसिकली इट विल बी प्रॉम्प्ट कि जो ये स्लाइड्स आने वाले हैं बल्कि मोस्ट ऑफ द कॉलेजेस इफ नॉट कि जो सीनियर्स रहते हैं आपके उनके पास पीडीएफ्स रहते हैं ऑफ दी स्लाइड्स लाइक जो माइक्रोस्कोप में डायग्राम्स रहते हैं उसके पीडीएफ्स रहते हैं यू कैन गेट देम एंड ऑल्सो जो प्री फाइनल्स रहते हैं या फिर जो प्रैक्टिकल्स रहते हैं उसमें दे विल बी वहाँ पे आपको हिस्टोलॉजी के स्लाइड्स देते हैं सो बेसिकली जब आप उसको अच्छे से याद कर लो बट मोस्ट कॉमनली जो भी गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज है या फिर प्राइवेट कॉलेज है दोनों में भी जो आंसर्स रहते हैं लाइक क्वेश्चंस आने वाले हैं हिस्टोलॉजी में या फिर जो स्पॉटर्स आने वाले हैं वो सब प्रॉम्प्ट कर डालते हैं सो लाइक जो भी ये हिस्टोलॉजी पार्ट के वास्ते ज्यादा डरने की लाइक जरूरत नहीं है
Jazakallah, Sarah. And one more question from Manara. Ma'am, फिजियो को जीके पाल एज ए ग्रुप ए पर्सन यूज कर सकते हैं क्या मैम?
या डेफिनेटली आप लोग कर सकते हैं बट मेक श्योर कि आप उसमें से सिर्फ LAQs एंड वगैरह फॉलो करें एंड आप उसको सेम्युलिज्म से रिलेट करें अगर आप सब जीके पाल से पढ़ने जाएंगे VSQ SQ तो आपको काफी टाइम लग जाएगा सो डोंट डू दैट इनफैक्ट सेम्युलिज्म इज अ वेरी गुड स्कोरिंग सब्जेक्ट ओके लाइक वेरी गुड स्कोरिंग बुक यू हैव फ्लो चार्ट्स डायग्राम सो आप LAQs के लिए अगेन स्टैंडर्ड इन्फॉर्मेशन जैसे कि डेफिनेशन रहता कुछ डिसीजेस का वो आप लोग को एग्जामिनर को परफेक्ट लिखना पड़ता फॉर देम टू इम्प्रेस तो वैसे स्टैंडर्ड मैटर आप जी के पास से एक्सट्रैक्ट करिए एंड सेम्युलिंगम साइड में रख के उसमें फिल इन करिए ओके विद फ्लो चार्ट्स एंड स्टफ एंड या आई थिंक दैट्स इट एंड HAQs का हाईलाइटेड वर्जन जो आता है उसमें से या रेड ब्लू पहले आप लोग पढ़िए एंड देन ग्रुप ए पर्सन स्पेसिफिकली रेड ब्लू उसमें से पहले पढ़िए एंड देन गो अहेड विद अदर क्वेश्चंस बट मेक श्योर कि आप हर क्वेश्चन HAQ का एक बार देख लो बिकॉज बाउंसर अगर आया देन यू विल बी लेफ्ट विद नथिंग
Jazakallah, sister. And one more question for you, Sarah. As you scored distinction in anatomy and very beautiful representation of the diagrams, one more question for you. How to learn the diagrams easily? I'm so bad at diagrams. Any tips regarding diagrams, please?
now what you can do is here if your डायग्राम पे बहुत बुरे हैं what you can do is like प्रैक्टिस डायग्राम को प्रैक्टिस करो अगर आप आपको फिर भी अगर डायग्राम्स अच्छे से नहीं आ रहे तो लाइक आप लाइन डायग्राम भी बना सकते हैं लेकिन एकदम परफेक्ट डायग्राम बनाना इट्स नॉट लाइक अ कंपलसरी थिंग अगर आप लाइन डायग्राम बनाए उसको अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करके अच्छे से उसको लेबल करें दैट्स ऑल्सो लाइक वेरी गुड यू कैन डू क्योंकि एटलीस्ट उसको आप कलर कर सकते हैं सो दैट इट लुक्स लाइक मोर अच्छा लिख सकता है मोर लाइवली लग सकता एंड इट्स लुक वेरी कंप्लीट सो what you have to do is practice for diagrams अगर वो फिर भी प्रैक्टिस से अगर ठीक नहीं हो रहा you can do the line diagrams एंड ऑल्सो लाइक आप क्या करना आप कलर कोड अच्छे से मेंटेन करो सो द एग्जामिनर नोज कि आपको अच्छे से डायग्राम आता बोल के बट द लाइन डायग्राम इज ऑल्सो फाइन
Okay, Jazakallah. And brother Tabriz, I would like to know कि हम लोग एग्जाम्स के टाइम पे एंजाइम्स साइकिल्स बहुत ओवरवेलमिंग लगते हैं so how can we revise them and how can we memorize all the enzymes? It's so stressful in the end moment. We forget many things. So any suggestion from your side, brother?
Can you please repeat the question?
So our question is in the end moment before exams, we usually forget names of the enzymes and the cycles feel so overwhelming. So any tips from your side that such that we can revise one day before exams?
पहले तो इस बात पे यकीन हो अपने साल में के पेपर जो दिन में जो भी तैयारी किया है वो हमारे दिल में है और जहन में दिमाग में है और यकीन इस बात पर ज्यादा ना हो कि हमने जो तैयारी किया है वो 100% या 100% इंशाल्लाह एग्जाम में याद हो या ना हो इस पर यकीन ना हो बल्कि अल्लाह की ज़ात पर आखिरी दिन में यकीन हो जितना भी मेहनत हमें ये करना था कर लिया जितना भी PYQ या फिर क्वेश्चन बैंक नोट्स जम्बुलकर वगैरह जो भी लगाना था हमने लगा लिया आखिर के दिनों में फिर एग्जाम के लिए वरी होना इसका मतलब ये होगा कि हम सारा के सारा अपने मेहनत पर तवक्कुल कर हमारे आखिर के दिनों में खास तौर पर जो एक दिन बच रहा है उन दिनों में रिवीजन से ज्यादा अपना एक टाइम इस तरह से बना ले कोई इस दिन हम या तो अल्लाह तबारक ताला की इबादत नमाज वगैरह में ज्यादातर वक्त गुजारेंगे एकदम चिल होंगे रिलैक्स होंगे और अपना डाइट का अपने टाइम का अपने एडमिट कार्ड वगैरह के इन तमाम चीज़ों के मेंटेनेंस में बिजी होंगे ना कि रिवीजन वगैरह करने में लेकिन फिर भी कुछ अगर फिक्र इस तरह से रिवीजन करना चाहते हैं तो उन दिनों में या तो आप जो हाईलाइटेड पॉइंट्स था आपका या फिर जो अपने शॉर्ट या फिर कहीं आपने दीवार वगैरह पर चिपकाया था जो चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट लगी थी आपको एग्जाम का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से उन तमाम चीज़ों को इंटेलिजेंटली आप रिवाइज कर सकते हो या फिर ये कर सकते हो कि कम अज कम क्लिनिकल केसेस या फिर एलएक्यू रिवाइज कर सकते हो। वरना मैं तो ये सजेस्ट करूंगा कि आखिर के दिनों में ज्यादा स्ट्रेस लेकर रिविजन वगैरह करने के लिए प्लान बनाने की कोशिश करो, वो हो जाता है मैनेज इंशाल्लाह।
जज़ाकल्लाह खैर भाई, आपके सजेशंस बहुत अच्छे लगे हम लोग को। सो लेट्स कंक्लूड दिस। Alhamdulillah, what an incredible evening this has been. A big thanks to all our incredible speakers, Sister Sarah Khanam for simplifying anatomy, Sister Manara Nan for physiology, and Brother Tabriz Alam for biochemistry. Your words have not only inspired but also reminded us that with consistency, faith, and small effort, nothing is impossible. A heartfelt Jazakallah to all the wonderful speakers for their time, kindness, and guidance. A heartfelt gratitude to Imsa, Mahbub Nagar, and Khammam, especially to Muhammad Sadeem of 2024 batch GMC Khammam and Sayyida Pura Naz of 2024 batch from GMC Gadwal for organizing this wonderful yet successful guided program and for giving me this opportunity as anchor tonight. Last but certainly not least, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our IMSA President Salman sir and our Vice Presidents Nuha Khan ma'am and Jamil Khatib sir for their constant support, encouragement and guidance throughout and the planning execution of the session. Your trust in our team and your unwavering support played a vital role in making this event possible. We are truly grateful for your leadership and mentorship. Jazak- Jazakallah khair for always inspiring and empowering us to serve the students' community better. To all my juniors, remember, first year might feel challenging at times, but every late night study session, every small effort you put in brings you closer to dreams of becoming doctor you always wanted to be. And all our participants, thank you for joining with such enthusiasm. May Allah fill your studies with barakah, make your first year journey easy, and crown your efforts with success, both in this world and next. Make your knowledge a source of benefit for Ummah. Ameen. Remember, when you seek knowledge sincerely for the sake of Allah, every late night study, every page you turn, every word you read becomes an act of worship. Keep learning, keep believing, and keep shining because every effort you make for the sake of Allah never goes unnoticed. On behalf of IMSA, thank you once again for being the part of this beautiful gathering. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, stay consistent, and stay connected with IMSA, and also keep striving for excellence. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.